1 in 2,000. That's your chance of getting this vehicle, the T9 American Heavy Tank AE Phase 1. Is it even any special? Well, no. 2,400 DPM, 400 alpha damage, just 250 penetration. But the dispersion's 0.33, it's fine. The aim time's not great. 10 degrees of gun depression, 16 power to weight ratio, which is solid. And turret armor, that is pretty good, but hull armor, that's just about fine. Now, how can you get this vehicle? What you essentially need is to gamble on one of these operation containers, and the drop chance is 0.05%. You get the operation container at the end of the premium pass with extra missions. So basically, you have to complete the entire battle pass, and then you have to gamble on a 1 in 2,000 chance to get this tank. That's why there's going to be very, very few people that actually have it. And there are very, very many people that have spent a lot of money trying to get it that still haven't. Because 1 in 2,000 doesn't mean that you have to open 2,000 of these crates to get it. No, you could potentially end up having to open an almost infinite amount because each crate has the same percentage. Just because you lost 50 times in a row doesn't mean that the percentage suddenly changes. And that's what a lot of people forget about gambling. The gambling itself doesn't care what happened before. If you have in roulette 100 times red in a row, the chance for red or black will stay the same, nonetheless, of what happened before. And that's the same with crates in World of Tanks Blitz, and there are also no charms either. So it can't be like, oh, you open 3,000 crates and then I get it. No, this is pure breed gambling in its worst form. Let's talk about a bit about the tank though, because is it even worth getting? Well, the short answer, for whatever price they're selling it for, absolutely not, because at this point you can't even measure it in thousands of euros anymore. You have to measure it in tens of thousands to actually get there. Because if you once complete your premium pass, you then get 1 or 2 of those containers at best, unless you throw away your money entirely. Which you shouldn't do, because there are so many beautiful things in life that are worth spending money on that aren't this piece of 4-tracked tank. Now, is it any good? Well, sort of. It's definitely a solid tier 9 heavy tank that does seem surprisingly agile. It does have 4 tracks, which obviously helps. Now, if you get tracked, it still stops, so that's not special there. But overall, it's not outstanding. Something like a Kennedy 1 or a Object 752 are better. Or, if you look at a vehicle like an M103, it can match it somewhat. And in a position like this, when you're hull down, I mean, it's gonna work. But there are vehicles that can do the same. And there is no need to ever own this vehicle. Ever. But some people are gonna want to have it. To those people, please don't. You're wasting your money. Entirely. Now we're gonna do something extremely bad here. I'm gonna rush the spawn. There's an MX-3090 up there. But hey, it's gonna work out nonetheless, because it's about having fun. Now what I'm gonna do is use the surprising agility of this vehicle, which you kind of do expect from a tank with 4 tracks, to a decent advantage here. Now, the problem is, and why this never actually happened with 4 tracks, is that you need a lot more drive shaft, because you now need to power 4 tracks instead of 2, so your gearbox gets a lot more complicated. Your drive shafts get a lot more complicated, taking up a lot more space inside the tank that you could have used for, let's say, storing ammunition or your crew's feet. So a tank like this would have never really worked well in reality. Now, yes, you have the advantage. If one of the 4 tracks gets blown off, you can still sort of keep it moving, but in the end, it's not really worth all the drawbacks it brings, and that is very much like the way this vehicle is in Blitz. It does have its advantages, but the massive amount of drawbacks that come with it are never going to be worth it. So it kind of is very nice that they've picked this vehicle for that job of being essentially unobtainable. Obviously, this is a press account. I have not wasted thousands of euros on obtaining it because I am not mad. Only a mad person would do that. Only someone that is so afraid of intelligence that they purposefully choose to be stupid every single day would do such a thing. Only someone with a mind the size of a peanut would think of committing such an act of utter foolishness as to gamble for this tank. Nonetheless, there are plenty that have done it. You're not one of them, I hope. Ideally, you don't even care. Because the Battle Pass itself is a good offer. They increased the price, which is not great. So keep that in mind. But overall, the Battle Pass is a good offer, and you could see this as an extra thing added at the end that you can sort of play with. But at a drop chance of 1 in 2,000, it's not that. It's not an extra they've added for someone to get at the end of the Battle Pass, and a reward for completing more missions that you need to. It's simply a way of separating someone that is bad with money from said money. Because you can buy quite a lot of food. You can probably buy a car for what it costs to get this tank. And I'm talking about a real car here. You know? Not in World of Cars, which will eventually happen, I suppose, if it's profitable, I guess, and then you can gamble on the cars as well. Or write it down, Wargaming. We're make World of Cars, come on. So, yeah, essentially, you're not gonna get this tank. And yeah, there's no need for you to want it, either. Now, yes, a lot of people do want what they can't get, but in this case, there is not much to get. It's a good tank, but it's also generic. You can get better off with an M103. It sort of plays the same. It's gonna do the same things. It's gonna do alright. In the end, basically, pretend that this tank doesn't exist. But the like button does exist, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next one. Goodbye.